So let's try this question that's asking us to do a hypothesis test to see if a certain kind of test is discriminatory. So we have results from a civil servant exam, and they're shown on this table over here on the right, and we're asked, is there sufficient evidence to support the claim that the results from the test are discriminatory, meaning the white candidates and the minority candidates aren't passing with the same frequency. So we have the white candidates and their pass and fail rate along with the minority candidates and their pass and fail rate. So the hypothesis is that the claim is that the results are discriminatory. In other words, the white candidates and the minority candidates do not have the same chance of passing the test. So that would be our alternative hypothesis. And our null hypothesis would say there's nothing wrong with this test. Everybody is the same. So the white and minority candidates will actually have the same chance of passing the test. So that's going to be option D right here. The null hypothesis says there's nothing wrong with the test. Everything's okay. The white and minority candidates have the same chance of passing the test. And the alternative hypothesis is what our claim was, that the white and minority candidates do not have the same chance of passing the test. It is discriminatory. So now we're asked to find the test statistic. So we definitely want to do this in StatCrunch. We absolutely do not want to do this by hand. So first, let's go ahead and open this in StatCrunch by clicking on the little blue button at the top and choosing Open in StatCrunch. So we have the white candidates and the minority candidates here in this first column, and then we have the pass and fails rate. So the way to access the test that we need for this particular kind of question is we're going to go to Stat, we're going to go to Tables, Contingency, and we're going to choose With Summary. So this is going to open up. So first we need to select the columns where our information is. Let's see if we can make this a little bigger. So the columns that we had were the passed and fails rate, right? The passed and failed were the two different columns where we had information. So we're going to select both of those by clicking on both while holding down the control key. Now the row variables, the row labels were these two, the white candidates and the minority candidates. And it's kind of weird, but that's been labeled up at the top by this sort of blank cell with just a dash in it. So when we go to row variables, we're actually going to select this one with a dash. That's indicating that the row labels are in that first column right here. Down a little further, we're going to leave the hypothesis test selected as chi-squared test for independence, and we're going to click compute. So if we scroll down to the bottom, we see that the value of the test statistic is here, 5.54, and the p-value is here. So the first thing we were asked for is the test statistic, so let's go ahead and copy this one and paste it over here. And it told us to round to 3 decimal places, so we're going to go back to 3 decimal places. That is correct. The p-value is right over here, so we're going to go ahead and copy that and paste that. That one says to round to 4 decimal places, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, so that looks good. And now we just need to interpret our answer. We don't need StatCrunch anymore for this. So it says, is there sufficient evidence to support the claim that the results from the test are discriminatory? So our p-value was 0.0185, and our significance level up here was 0.01. That means that the p-value in this case is bigger than the significance level. When the p-value is bigger than the significance level, we are going to fail to reject the null hypothesis. Well, what does that mean? The null hypothesis that we had was that the white and minority candidates have the same chance of passing the test. If I fail to reject that, then in more simple terms, I think that's probably true. Or even not necessarily I think it's true, but I have no reason to discredit it. I have no reason to reject it or say it's not true. In other words, I accept that it's possible that the white and minority candidates have the same chance of passing the test. But that was not my claim. My claim was that the results were discriminatory. That was the statement I had here in the alternative hypothesis. But since I've already basically accepted the null hypothesis, I have not supported my claim in the alternative hypothesis. So I would have to say there is not sufficient evidence to support the claim that the results are discriminatory.